Disabled here with another episode of VSW. Thank you very much, everybody. And today I am going to go over in one, not two parts due to our Spreaker issues right now. I can only do a time limit shorter than we usually do at the VSW, but I'm going to cover the IWTV 100 that we went to a little over a week ago in Williamstown, New Jersey, in the legendary H2O Factory Center, or you can call it the sauna, because it was over 200 degrees, and there were guys that went for almost an hour or even more than an hour being in that ring in a sweat fest. And this moment stole the show. We start off with an opening ladder match all the way to returning AEW legends, OC and Kris Statlander, and two of the best in the world today, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, squared at it for the 100th title defense of the Independent Wrestling Television Championship, which is IWTV title, and it's 100th defense, and they brought back legendary indie names that were former champions such as Warhorse, Jonathan Grisham, etc. And I'm going to go right to the card, shall we? So first off, we have an H2O Student Showcase ladder match for a future title shot at the IWTV World title between Gigi Everson, Reed Walker, Ryan Redfield, and Steve Saunders, Austin Luke, and Marcus Mathers in a ladder match that was meant to steal the show. Some people like that were us. We're here since Camp Leapfrog, and there was a little break in between so Drew Cordero and all of them could get everything set up. And this was meant to be a showcase, and that is a pretty good deal. A shot whenever you want at an IWTV champ. Kind of like how Money in the Bank happens every year and how it was originally a WrestleMania idea, similar to how they're going with the IWTV 100 event. Who knows if they're going to do a dedication to indie wrestling once a year, maybe when they get to 150, 200. The world may never know. But anyways, this was a great showcase. There was a lot of holy shit moments in the crowd. When not only were there ladders, there were a lot of acrobatic young students jumping off chairs, slamming in the tables. The crowd went nuts to get them excited and keep hydrated too. And you got guys throwing each other on tables, but it was Marcus Mathers who sneaked away above with the win. While everyone was killing each other on the other ladders, he took the advantage. We saw him the night before at VXS Wrestling, where he did really well there too in a triple threat showcase. And this kid has a bright future ahead of him. The Williamstown faithful was really into him, and he could cash in at any time. Let's see if they make a star out of here in the independent scene. Next match is Kevin Blackwood, the Buffalo Boy, versus old school Eric Martin. Eric Martin's from Ring of Honor, but Blackwood's been making waves with his friend Daniel Garcia, who's the current Limitless Main World Champion. They both grew up in Buffalo, have that similar submission MMA style of wrestling. But I really like Blackwood. He's usually in opening matches, but he always steals the show in some way, shape, or form. This guy's really talented. Same as Eric Martin, the first time I've saw him since a Ring of Honor show. Former tag champion, he had old school stuff. There were a lot of grapples in this match, I feel like. Elbow drops and some submission holds such as backbreakers, Boston Crabs, and many more. But it was Eric Martin who stole the show and carried the victory over Kevin Blackwood, who had to help his friend prepare for a big match of his life later. So that could have played a factor in him losing and Eric Martin getting the upper hand. And the next match we're going to move on is a trios match or six-man tag team match between Jigsaw, Hallowicked, and Arthur Manthus, who came off a huge win, helping Abby Jane celebrate her 21st birthday in style, beating Sydney Bacabella, Travis Huckabee, and Big Dan Baby. All defeated, and Abby Jane had a 21st birthday. They didn't sell alcohol at the event. Hopefully she was able to celebrate. But these guys might have been hung over too much as you took on the team of Wheeler Yuta stable and Alexander James, the AirPod God Richard Holiday, and the gatekeeper who hates people that don't live in his gate, Logan Eason LaRue, also known as Blank. I don't think he wants us to know that, but we all know that anyways. It was a really great match. The crowd was pulling for the Hal Wicked and Ultra Madness combo coming off a huge win, but it was a little too much for them as the heel tactics of Halliday James. There was a lot of turnbuckle moves. There was a lot of flips and everything, but the old school style heels tactics of distracting the referee allowed Richard Halliday to pin Jigsaw for the 1-2-3 count, leading into the momentum for Wheeler Yuta coming off, leading into the main event, which is great. These guys all have very good potential, whether Wheeler Yuta wrestles in AEW full-time or not. But all these guys, Richard Holiday used to team up with MJF and MLW, and he always steals the show and get heated wherever he goes. The guy just wants to listen to some music, okay? Are you ready to move on, people? I sure am. Next match, we got the legendary Strikers into Violence is Forever teammate Kevin Koo, who we've seen a lot on the road in Limitless Maine, facing the MMA striker splasher Matt Mikowski, coming off a huge win over Thunder Frog earlier. And this was a really great match. This was an old school style submission match. The crowd was wicked nuts for both men. It was a typical face versus face feud, with Mikowski getting the upper hand after a frog splash. But Kevin Koo also had his signature arm twist and maneuvers to really keep this competitive, but the crowd was really getting into it right before the main event striking. As this was a great match, it was an over 3-star match for me. Both of these guys had really good chemistry, knowing that they're submission guys and strikers. And Mikowski has the upper hand because he is a veteran and former MMA fighter. Philadelphia native. I always enjoy watching these two strike, as I hope to see more of Kevin Koo in the future. He's really starting to break out in a singles career outside of MLW, and the future is bright for both of these men. As I move on, Adam Priest takes on the first ever IWTV champion, Ring of Honor North American champion, Jonathan Gresham. The crowd was all excited to see him, as this was another really good match, as Jonathan Gresham has a really good old-fashioned slam style of wrestling, which made him come out on top with this whole feud, as the crowd was really into him, really excited to see him, because he wrestles full-time in Ring of Honor, I believe. This was another great match because Adam Priest gave a fight of his life, but it wasn't good enough, as the crowd was a little sleepy towards this match, as they really wanted to see the last 3 matches that everyone came for, including some legends, as Jonathan Gresham won the match with a pinfall, and the whole crowd went nuts. But now, one of the greatest matches of the night. You got 2 best friends, pun intended, in AEW, former IWTV legends and champions of their own right, the Alien Kris Statlander and freshly squeezed whatever man Orange Cassidy, facing former IWTV champion that lost to Wheeler Yuta, the King of Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty, and the Afro Punk, Trish Adora. All 4 of these people had really great chemistry, and it all started off that it wasn't going to be an intergender rules match, but the match was pretty broken, as Lee Moriarty played a little bit of heel trying to get Orange Cassidy not to put his hands in his pockets, and you got Kris Statlander being like a mentor for Cassidy while they're teaming up. But at the same time, the Area 450 splash on Trish Adora was good enough for her to win, because Lee Moriarty got pinned. But Trish Adora used a huge showing, knowing her back-breaking submission strikes that she's known for. It was a very good match. The crowd was into it. Even Orange Cassidy and Kris Statlander were there. Even their opponents, the people, went crazy for truth. As indie legends that live in New Jersey, they get to see all the big stars. They have respect for all 4 of these people. And with the 450 splash from Kris Statlander, especially coming off undefeated AEW streak is really hard for them to capitalize, but the future's bright for both. And the next match on the card is Warhorse versus the hardcore badass John Wayne Murdoch from the South. Both of the Warhorse rules ass. It was raining thumbtacks in this match. There were a lot of tables being broken. The crowd got really into it, as they all love Warhorse, as he's one of the longest reigning IWTV champions. He defended that title 66 of those potential 100 times. And people were chanting, Warhorse rules ass. And John Wayne Murdoch was pulling. The crowd was into both of them. There was no real face or heel except for Wheeler Yuta and the stable for this whole card. These people are beloved by the New Jersey faithful, as after he dumped thumbtacks on himself, John Wayne Murdoch destroyed Warhorse after he showed up a great fight. He was too busy focusing on the open swim with Chase Gold, as he praised him, as it was a great hardcore match. Wasn't completely deathmatch style, but was enough to get the crowd energized into a sauna-like system at the warehouse with no AC. Going into the main event of the evening, it is the IWTV champion and newly christened IWTV World Championship, as the leader of the PWI was there, managed by Rich Palladino, announcing it, versus Red Death Daniel Garcia with Kevin Blackwood along his side. As they were the faces, unlike Maine, where they're the heels, where me and Versace have paid attention that Daniel Garcia, you have the gatekeeper on Wheeler Yuta's side, as the crowd was going crazy. As you were on your edge of the seat, you thought so many times. In the beginning of the match, Wheeler Yuta had the upper hand. There were a lot of turnbuckle strikes, a lot of reverse flips, and there was a ton of submission moves. Every submission move you've watched from the old days of wrestling, from Bret Hart to Daniel Bryan, all the way to Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, as the technician style really killed this match. I love this match because it ended in a 60-minute draw in a sauna. You gotta give these two men the credit of the world. And they were on AEW Dynamite with Wheeler Yuta teaming up with OC and Best Friends. And you got Daniel Garcia teaming up with 2.0 and losing effort against Darby Allin. But both these men have incredible potential in the future. I really was disappointed that Daniel Garcia didn't pull out. I like Yuta, but I thought it was time for a new champion, as you could have had him be a mega MMA Buffalo striker. As both men passed out, Daniel Garcia used his Red Death finisher, and Wheeler Yuta tapped right after the 60-minute bell was rang. This is a very controversial that indie fans have been talking about all week since we went, as some people thought Wheeler Yuta should have defended it. But after a very good professional wrestler who commentated this match came and attacked Marcus Mathers, as he was going to cash in on an exhausted Wheeler Yuta, who nearly passed out in this sauna. These two men, Garcia and Yuta, they're in incredible shape because they have tremendous workout styles too. You got Puff and Kevin Blackwood checking in on Garcia, helping him escape so he didn't have to get attacked by all the falling wrestlers that confronted Yuta. As a very good professional wrestler, prevented Marcus Mathers from a potential cash-in, like a Money in the Bank cash-in. You've got Matt Mikowski, Trish Adora, all show up after very good professional wanted a shot at Yuta. They did too, as this goes on to Beyond's Americana with Denver, Colorado, as it will be a fatal four-way match between Alec Price, Willow Nightingale, and Mikowski and Adora to determine the future in Wheeler Yuta. I love this pay-per-view. I hope they do it as a yearly thing. Me and the Versace Stoner will attend. And before we run out of time, I just want to let you guys know to check out Americana this Sunday in the biggest New England independent promotion of the year, maybe even the whole country, as Wheeler Yuta and his stable of Logan Easton LaRue, Richard Holiday, and Alexander James will be in a 4-on-1 handicap match against Chris Dickinson. Maybe his title will be defended, maybe not. Tune in to Americana this Sunday. Disable out, and thank you for watching this VSW presentation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.